Hi, and welcome back to the Green Vegan Grandma channel, where we try to figure out why the kids are out in the street, skipping school, concerned about environment, and what can we do to support them. So last week we talked about the power of embracing our own Green New Deal, the powerful things that we can do in our own lives, little lifestyle changes we can make to show the kids that we're caring and we want to learn more, and we're taking the first steps and trying to figure out what we can do so that they don't have to live in a horrible apocalyptic mess. There's talk of the Paris Agreement, right? And that's really important to continue to hold corporations and governments accountable to that agreement. And just for, even if climate change isn't real, just because it's important to not make a big mess on the planet for no good reason, right? So we got to continue to do that work and support the kids doing that work. But I'm also very firm believer in walking the talk, doing it ourselves. So today I want to talk about environment specifically because of the big rally coming up on March 15th. And I'd like to talk a little bit about Meatless Monday as a next step on this journey to our own very powerful Green New Deal. Meatless Monday is a movement that started in 2003, around 2003. Oh, pardon me. Actually, no, it went all the way back to World War I, according to the research that I did. It was a call to for people to reduce consumption of meat products, dairy, for the war effort at that time. And then it was kind of revived in 2003 for health reasons when it started to become clear about the impacts of animal protein on human health. And now here we are in 2019. Now, how did we get from there to here? Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN, the FAO, in 2006, I remember this, it was a big report. They joined forces with the Livestock Environmental and Development Initiative, or LEAD, and produced a report called Livestock's Long Shadow. And this report revealed that animal agriculture actually uses about 33% of the entire Earth's land surface, and globally is responsible for about 18% of greenhouse gas emissions. This was the very first report that I remember that said animal agriculture is responsible for more greenhouse gases than any other sector for contributing to the climate change. So again, if you don't believe in climate change, still, that's a lot of pollution, as we used to call it in the old days. And so this UN report warned that these emissions from animal agriculture could increase by as much as 80% if people stayed on the same track, 80% more by 2050. So people need to get off animal products, basically. So Meatless Mondays is a great place to start. Let's go forward to 2014 and meet two young US-based filmmakers who produced a wonderful film called Cowspiracy: The Sustainability Secret. And this is a documentary that's available on Netflix or online. It's really fun to watch. And it looks at the impact specifically of animal agriculture on the environment. 80 to 90% of US water consumption goes directly to animal agriculture. And every minute, 7 million pounds of excrement are produced by animals raised for food just in the US alone, and as many as 2.7 trillion animals are pulled from the ocean every year. So nowadays there are reports and articles just about every day. There's a new report talking about animal agriculture. Sometimes the numbers vary slightly and people discuss and debate that, and then some people try to dismiss the whole argument just because they can't pin down the exact numbers. But I think the trend is pretty clear that the pollution from animal agriculture is not good. The amount of land and resources used in animal agriculture is not good. And it's simple to change that. And the only people who can change that is you and me. It's supply and demand. So starting with Meatless Mondays, again, I'm encouraging that. And in future episodes, I'll talk about the impacts of that on your own health and how to do it properly, because animal agriculture is almost everywhere, in almost every product. It's kind of scary. So here are some of the reports that I found just doing a quick search the last few days, okay? So this one's from a UK-based nonprofit called Viva. The report's called Envirocidal, and it says that a global switch to diets that rely less on meat and more on fruit and vegetables could save 8 million lives by 2050. I guess those are human lives, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2/3. All right, so another one from the UK. This one is drone footage showing some of the 800 massive mega farms that they say are responsible for accelerating climate change, driving species loss, emitting damaging slurry and nitrates, putting smaller farmers out of business, causing large-scale animal suffering by cramming creatures into windowless buildings with little or no outdoor access. Okay, and a third report that I found just in the last month, the Lancet Commission Medical Journal, actually from January, featured on the Food Revolution Network here. Now, I wanted to specify the Food Revolution Network as a good source for especially health-based information. We'll talk more about that in future. But this one says more plants and less meat is the only way to feed the world. So the Food Revolution Network is founded by John Robbins and Ocean Robbins, his son. John Robbins walked away from the Baskin-Robbins empire decades ago when he realized it's not the way of the future, it's not healthy, and he wrote a book called Diet for a New America. It's in used bookstores if you can find it. It's a great book. All right, so those are just some of the reports and articles that are out there. There are new headlines almost all the time nowadays. It's very encouraging. It's a great awakening, and if you're starting with Meatless Mondays, you're taking the first step on a wonderful, wonderful journey that never ends. It's a constant learning. It's very empowering. Let's get out in the streets on March 15th and support those kids and show them like we care, you know. This is a big deal. It's real. Like something big is shifting on our planet, and we've lived our lives, right? I mean, I'm just hoping to get to the end of my life without too much suffering. These folks have the whole rest of their lives to worry about. So I'll see you on March 15th. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel because I will be back to talk more about this lifestyle that I've just love. Thanks for being there.